Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Today I am going to be introducing another lesser known place in Japan to you, and that is Yame Fukuoka. Those who are well knowledge in the world of green tea might actually know Yame because it has a very famous gyokuro green tea. But for others, Yame might be a place that is not on your radar. I am curious though, if you have heard of Yame before, please let me know in the comments below. Yame is located in Fukuoka Prefecture, which is on Kyushu Island. In Yame's downtown Fukushima district, the streets are lined with whitewashed buildings and there are small craft workshops interspersed. This was an area of merchants and crafts during the Edo period, and the remnants of that history continues on today. Which brings us to today's video. Earlier this year, my mom visited me in Kyushu. Thank God that the travel restrictions were lifted. Since it was her first time in Kyushu, I decided to take her to Yame as we both have an interest in crafts and we're looking for a unique Japan experience without all the crowds. Transportation to Yame is a bit far, but it is not too tricky. We took a train and a bus and had a little bit of walking before we reached the main streets. Once we arrived, we could immediately feel the blanket of calm quiet that filled the air. After walking around some of the shops, with our favorite being the Unagi no Nedoko stores, which carry a selection of products made by local artisans all around Kyushu, and the Chochin lantern shops, where I actually got this lantern, this beautiful cute lantern, we headed in to check in at our lodging at Craft in Tay. I had read all about Craft in Tay and had seen the pictures online, but being in person was a whole new thing. Just staying in the inn was an experience in itself, and one that my mom and I agree was one of the highlights of our trip. The inn is made from a recently renovated traditional building, and inside the spacious two-story room are furnishings and decorations that highlight the work of local craftsmen. I've stayed at other fancy ryokans and hotels in Japan before, but this place was so much different in that it truly was an immersive art experience. The inn offers 3 different rooms, an indigo room, a washi room, and a bamboo room. But since my mom's hobby is in quilting and patchwork and my favorite color is blue, it seemed like the indigo room was the perfect choice for us. Time to enjoy a weekend of indigo! When I first entered the indigo room, its beauty and size left me in awe. Down the hall on the first floor was a huge tatami room for dining and relaxing. In the center of the room was a large wooden table that had been tinted a deep blue because it had been dyed in indigo. Decorations on the shelves highlighted the materials and processes used in indigo dyeing, and I loved the small details like the woodwork in the walls. It was in this room that my mom and I enjoyed brewing our own Yame cha, or tea from the Yame region, and snacking on a little sweet once we arrived. This was my first time brewing tea with so many instructions, but it turned out great. First, we had to bring the tea to the correct temperature before cooling it down with different vessels. Then, we used the handy timer to steep it for the perfect amount of time. The freshly brewed Yame tea paired so well with the provided sweets and made for an awesome welcome treat. Next to the tatami room was the bathroom. Here, the main star was the large cedar bath that was made by a local bucket producer. Upstairs, we found the sleeping area, and it was just as thoughtfully designed as the bottom floor. I loved the huge indigo-dyed woven tapestry as well as the other pieces of indigo art around the room. There was also a small reading space that had another small indigo-dyed table and chairs. My mom enjoyed flipping through books about the building's restoration process and picking up inspiration about indigo and other crafts in this space. Additional amenities included cozy soft pajamas, and since it was still cold, a Japanese hanten, which is a kind of short cotton robe. And it is so comfortable but so warm, I really wanted to get one after trying it on that day. The entire room was so luxurious, and it was so nice to relax in and take in all of the small details. Once evening fell, it was time to eat. For dinner, we went to a restaurant called Hayama, which specializes in duck cuisine. Here we got duck hot pot as well as grilled duck, where it was cooked on a hot plate in front of us. Walking back to the inn, the streets were quiet and peaceful, nothing like the crazy chaos of the city. After a leisurely soak in the massive cedar tub, it was time to change into the cozy pajamas, which you can see I loved here, and head to bed. Oyasumi nasai! In the morning, it was hard to get out of the comfy futon beds, but we had to get up since breakfast was waiting downstairs. Inside the bamboo bucket, a feast waited before us. The spread was so colorful and full of different ingredients, including miso soup, tamagoyaki, as well as a fish cake, fresh vegetables, and fruit. According to the little info sheet that came with the meal, the breakfast actually changes depending on the availability of different seasonal ingredients. After the nourishing meal, it was time to pack up and head out. It was sad to say bye to Craft and Tay after such an amazing experience, but knowing that there are other rooms that I haven't stayed in, I'm super excited to be able to come back. We finished our stay at Craft and Tay, but our Indigo experience was not over yet. Next, we headed to Hirokawa, which is about a 20-minute drive away, for the last part of our Indigo adventure. Welcome to Aizome Kasuri Kobo, a local kurume kasuri maker. Here we got to have a tour of the family workshop from the 5th generation head, learn about indigo dyeing and the kurume kasuri making process, and then have a chance at making our own indigo dyed art piece ourselves. All of the finished kurume kasuri pieces and the decorations inside the house were spectacular. My mom and I both oohed and awed at everything we saw. Once we suited up, we headed into the dyeing room where we got to see the vats of fermenting indigo and learn more about the dyeing process. Then it was time to dip our own fabric husk to make our art pieces. Even though we had the same piece of dyeing cloth and we're using the same vats, our pieces turned out so different from each other. It was a fun hands-on activity and the guide was so kind. You can actually see the art pieces here. I have one. This is the one that my mom made, and this is the one that I made. I kind of wish that I was able to get the deeper blues that she was able to get, but alas, I did not. It was such an awesome experience to be able to make these, and now whenever I look at these art panels, I am able to remember our experience, and I can't wait to find a way to hang them up on the wall to make them showcase even better. This trip to Yame, including the stay at Craft and Tay, the hands-on experience at Aizome Kasuri Kobo, and just being able to walk around and take in such a quiet and lovely city will definitely be an experience I know we will both remember for a long, long time. It's not every day that you get to have an immersive art stay in such a beautiful inn and then the very next day meet some of the artisans yourself. It is actually the craftsmen at Aizome Kasuri Kobo that make the indigo dyed table in the tatami room, as well as the big woven tapestry that I loved so much. After I learned this and got to meet them, it just made the experience feel that much more meaningful. This kind of trip isn't for everyone, but it is for those who are interested in learning more about Japanese culture, Japanese art, and for seeing some of the beauty that Japan has that is different than the normal Tokyo and Osaka hotspots. If you are interested in learning more about these experiences, you can read all about them on my website, which you can find in the description below. I hope you enjoyed seeing another lesser known part of Japan. It really makes me happy to be able to experience these places and share them with you. So if you like them, be sure to give this video a thumbs up so I know and I can continue making some more. I look forward to seeing you again on the next video, but until then, thank you for watching and I'll see you.